everyone, I'm Liz Burrell and welcome to the Big Green Egg Grilling Show. Each week we bring you something new in the world of grilling, roasting, smoking, and baking, and tips and tricks along with great cooking segments. During each show we'll teach you how to season or flavor your cooks, introduce you to new Big Green Egg accessories and how best to use them, as well as answer questions from our fans on various social media channels, including questions sent to Mailbag at biggreenegg.com. First, we have Jennifer from Long Island. Can I use glass bakeware on the egg? Of course you can. Anything that you can use in your kitchen, on your stove, in your oven, you can use in the Big Green Egg. For instance, you can use any glass bakeware at the recommended temperature from the manufacturer, but as long as it's safe, you can use it in the Big Green Egg. So our second question today is from David from Albuquerque. What's your favorite rub for steaks? Great question, and I love steak. So I'm going to enjoy this. So my personal favorite is our ancho chili and coffee seasoning. Now, I use this pretty liberally. You don't want to disrespect the steak. You put a lot of seasoning on it, right? So what I like to do is coat the steak in olive oil, salt, and pepper, and then I add a liberal amount of this to my steak. I also melt butter, add a little bit of minced garlic to that butter, and then I melt this down into that butter, stir it up, and turn it into a butter char. So when I put it on my cast iron grid, I like to brush the butter on one side, flip it, brush it on the other side, and then once it's pulled off and resting, I really like to pour the rest of this butter over it, and it makes for a really delectable steak. Now, our new seasoning, classic steakhouse seasoning, I really adore this too, and this is honestly really good by itself. Now, you can put this on a lot of other things, just like you can put the ancho chili and coffee seasoning on a lot of things, but this is really phenomenal and gives that wonderful steakhouse feel. So that was it for today's mailbag questions. Let's get on to our recipe of the day. Today's recipe, we're going to be doing an ice cream dipped French toast. Now what's exciting about this is that the ice cream actually goes in place of the milk and you don't need as many other ingredients. So we have our egg set up at 450 degrees with our egg expander basket, and on one side we have our half moon baking stone, and on the other side our half moon cast iron griddle with the plancha side up. So we have let that heat up while the rest of the egg is heating up, making sure that the cast iron griddle is hot enough to start. We want to make sure that the cast iron is very hot so that we don't have any kind of umbrella factor with our French toast. When it hits the griddle, we want it to immediately seize up and start cooking so that we have no French toast leakage. So let's go ahead and cut our beautiful challah bread. This is gorgeous. So I'm going to actually take two bigger pieces from the middle because I want them to be the same size. And we're looking for about 1 inch to 1.5 inches here. So our challah bread is our first ingredient, so we have that done. And then we are going to be using our blackberry lemon basil ice cream, a cup of that. Now it's melted and you can use any flavor that you want. This is my personal favorite. It's interesting, it's different. And then we're going to be using a tablespoon of unsalted butter, extra virgin olive oil, 1 egg room temperature, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and 1/2 cup of blackberries and some confectioner's sugar at the end to sprinkle on top. Now we're also going to be using a blackberry syrup. We are going to be using our cast iron sauce pot here to do that on our indirect side of our egg. We're going to use 1/2 cup of fresh blackberries, 1/4 cup of sugar, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, and 1/2 cup of water. So let's go ahead and get started mixing all of our ingredients. I'm going to take this other bread. We'll use this for something else later. And we have our melted ice cream here. Handy dandy little whisk. We're going to go ahead and mix this up, make sure that there are no you know, chunks from the ice cream melting. I did melt this overnight in the refrigerator. So let's go ahead and add our egg. Whisk this really nice. It's okay if you make a mess. It's French toast. It's supposed to be fun, right? Now, what's really fun to me about this recipe is that when I was a kid, my mom used to make me French toast pretty often, mostly on special occasions, but she used her father's recipe, which was just plain white bread, cinnamon, milk, and eggs and syrup at the end, and it was my absolute favorite. And she talked about how her father made it for her when she was little, and it was her favorite too. So French toast is actually thought to have been created back in Europe in the medieval times when people were trying to make the most of the food that they had. So they would use day-old bread and add egg for protein, add our cinnamon here, to make sure that they made the most of their food and didn't waste anything. So overall, it's a pretty hearty breakfast, I would say, if they were doing it back then. All right, now we're gonna add our vanilla extract. Give that a nice whisk. Now, really, you do want to use, you know, day-old bread. This is a day-old or even 2-day-old bread. It's gonna soak up more, and you wanna make sure that the outside is really crispy and the inside is kind of like a custard, like this ice cream and egg mixture is making. All right, so we're gonna take our first piece of bread. I'm gonna dip it in here, give it a nice soak. Now in France, French toast is actually called pain perdu, which means lost bread, because they can't use it for anything else. All right, so that's got a good soak on that side. Flip it over. Now you don't want it to be too soggy, so I wouldn't leave it in here for too long. It's gonna soak up a good bit of that flavor. Awesome, that's beautiful. Okay, so let's open our egg here. We're gonna take 1 tablespoon of butter all over here, and a little bit of olive oil so that it doesn't burn. And on we go with our first piece of toast. Perfect. And now if you can look, you see that there was no umbrella effect. There was no leaking of that egg mixture because the plancha is so hot, and it needs to be. Now, of course, you don't want your toast to burn, but you need it to be crunchy on the outside and really soft on the inside. All right, so I think our second piece of toast here is nice and dunked in our egg mixture. On we go with that. I'm gonna put this to the side. Now shut our egg here, and we're gonna put together our syrup real quick and put that on our indirect side. Now we're gonna take some of our blackberries here, about half of a cup, and we are gonna add some water. Our lemon juice, and about 1/4 of a cup of sugar. We're gonna give that a little bit of a stir just to make sure everything is incorporated. Now when we're done with this, we're gonna push this through our strainer here to get rid of all of the seeds that we don't want and put it in a bowl. We're gonna use this to garnish our beautiful French toast. Now you wanna bring this to a boil and kind of crush the blackberries down. Most of them will break down anyway, but just to make sure. So let's go ahead and put this on our egg here. Let's use our stainless steel spatula and just kind of lift up and check. That one is good to turn. So we are looking good. Now this cooks pretty fast, so you don't really have to worry too much about it. We're gonna let it rest for a little bit afterward also. All right, our French toast is done. It's been on for about 5 to 7 minutes. Now it has a little darker color because our ice cream is actually purple, so this is perfectly fine. Now let's get on to our tips from the experts for today. So our tip from the expert today is actually on our Speedy Light charcoal starters. These are absolutely wonderful, and this is from our expert Joe, who is the manager of our global distribution center. Now he recommends to fray the edge of our charcoal starter to make it light faster, which is a wonderful, wonderful tip. Now you want to put this directly in the middle of your charcoal and light. I've heard some people do it in a triangle. I prefer to do it from the middle. It lights just as fast. Now to light it, we are going to use our butane igniter, which is cordless and battery powered, and you just fill it up with butane on the back. Or we can use our igniter that plugs into the wall. They're both phenomenal products, and they both light exactly at the same time. So, perfect. So that's our expert tip for the day. Let's get on to plating our beautiful French toast. So our gorgeous French toast is finished, and we are ready to plate. So in lieu of keeping clean dishes, we're going to go ahead and sift some powdered sugar, confectioner's sugar, over our French toast first. And we're going to use the same sifter for our blackberry syrup. All right. Now this is still hot because it just came off the egg, so please make sure to wear your heat gloves, your egg mitts. Beautiful blackberry syrup, and it smells so good. It reminds me of spring. All right. So I'm gonna let that cool for just a second here. And we are going to take our lemon blackberry basil ice cream and put it on our plate here. Gorgeous. You know, it's about the presentation. The prettier your food looks, the better you're gonna feel, because you really kind of accomplished something. It's almost like art. All right, now we are gonna take some of our blackberry syrup and drizzle it all around our plate here. Maybe a little bit on the ice cream too. All right, now there you have it. My beautiful ice cream dipped French toast. I can't tell you how delicious this is, and it's very decadent. So, you know, maybe on a Sunday, maybe even Saturday morning, just try this on the egg. Try something new. Do breakfast. Do something beautiful and vibrant that makes you feel good and makes the rest of your day wonderful. I hope that I've inspired you to try something new and different and exciting on your Big Green Egg. And if you're not an egger yet, please head to biggreenegg.com, where you can shop for online home delivery at a dealer in your own community. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Liz Burrell. Tune in next time when I have something special in store for you.
There's a place where fire and flavor are celebrated. Grill it, roast it, smoke it, or bake it. It's the most versatile grill you'll ever own. Have it delivered to your door by a certified dealer in your community and start enjoying the ultimate cooking experience. Visit biggreenegg.com.